This is the Reverend Dan Wilson back with another edition of the Midnight Black Mass, and at this time, folks, it is a distinct honor and privilege to present our guests. You know, when you discuss the great frontmen in heavy metal history, many names come to mind: Halford, Ozzy, Dio, Araya, Lemmy. A select few belong in that group, and the man sitting beside me is one of those. I give you a man who has asked no quarter and given none, the voice of a generation of many people like myself who would simply not accept the pile of shit that mainstream media was trying to push on us. Please welcome a true blue heavy metal god, Mr. Phil Anselmo.
How you doing there, Reverend?
I'm doing fan-fucking-tastic, and Phil, there's a million questions I'd like to ask you, but we know our time is short, so let's get right down to it. You're a busy man these days. You always have many irons in the fire, the biggest of which right now is Housecore Records. For those unfamiliar, what is the goal of Housecore and the type of bands you're featuring right now?
Well, you know, obviously, being a long-time musician and really thriving and really delving into the underground and what it offers. It's something that's a passion in my life. I'm always interested in what, I guess, a generation behind me, 2 generations behind me. I'm always very interested in what the fuck they're up to and what they're doing. So for me, I look for bands that are either a solid unit, that, you know, you take a look at Warbeast, and they're straight up, in my opinion, Dallas-Fort Worth thrash to a fucking T. That's something I grew up with. That is a heartfelt type of thing. But aside from Warbeast, I'm really, you know, I'm looking for bands that I guess were hitting them hidden notes, because I like to believe that music has not been fully explored. There's got to be different time signatures. There's got to be different notes to hit, different ways to hit notes, different ways to bend fucking notes. So I'm looking for the bands that are seeking out these Stygian notes. And, you know, it's a laborer's task, but it's a labor of love. And, you know, honestly, this is where my heart has led me. And when I follow my heart, the truth is the truth, and I am an executor. So I execute. I live like a fucking shark.
Fuck yeah. And speaking of Housecore, right now available, housecorerecords.com, War of the Gargantuans. It is a split EP with Warbeast and your first ever solo material. What inspired you after this long to finally do a solo recording under the Phil Anselmo name?
I felt like it was time to do something very aggressive and not to take away anything from the 2 songs that are on the split, but honestly, the full length that is coming out this summer called Walk Through Exits Only really makes those 2 songs sound like child's play. You know, it's like really kind of straightforward, you know, and it fits the 2 songs I'm speaking about that are on the split. They really fit with what Warbeast is doing, you know, as far as a thrashy type of expression. I've got many types of expressions as far as heavy metal goes, and I just I really wanted to up the game again as much as I could, but not stray away from the style, or styles, should I say, that got me here to begin with. So I know that there's a grave chance that it might be so extreme to some listeners, especially like hardcore down fanatics and shit like that. It might go right over their fucking head. They might not catch it. But then again, there is going to be a crowd, because the crowd, the music crowd, is not dumb. Not even the kids out there anymore, because they're very informed. And music is really a reflection of an opinion. What you like, what you hate. I'm ready for the public to hear my shit, consume it, and, let's have some fucking feedback. Let's hear you experts try and slide me into a slot, which is going to be tough to do.
No categorizing.
No, you can't.
Oh, man, no categorizing.
But if you want to call it simple heavy metal, then maybe go ahead and do it. But there'll be about 20,000 detractors saying, well, I hear a little bit of this, hear a little bit of that, and hear a little bit of this again in it. But it's definitely unorthodox, I'll say that.
And right now, available fans, you can also get Down For, the Purple EP.
Damn straight.
Part 1, out on Down Records. You can really tell, Phil, you guys poured your souls into this recording, and it reverberates from the opening note. Can you take us into your thought process lyrically for the album, and what mystic forces had a hand in the album's creation?
Well, I've got to give thanks and praise to the old ones. And the gatekeeper would be Yog Sothoth. But also, truthfully, and from the bottom of my heart, I approached this fucking EP the same exact way I approached Down's first demo. See, when we recorded our first demo, it was just an idea. Nobody showed up with notebooks full of notes. I didn't have a fucking lyric written. And we walked into a room, pounded out the songs, and walked away. And really, I kept myself as far away from overthinking this record as possible. So when it came to lyrical approach, I already had a concept of rhythmically what I would do. Certain note value, perhaps I had in mind, but honestly, I'm a wordsmith. If there are words that are on the paper in front of me and they look great together, there is a certain magic with that. Some may call it black magic, some may call it brown magic. I call it fucking it works magic. And once again, I didn't overthink it. I didn't rush it. I didn't short-sight it either. I just fucking put the pen to paper and it came out. And to me, I guess, in my opinion, the Purple EP that you media freaks have named it, because honestly I didn't name it a fucking thing. There's really no title to it, so I left that up to conjecture. You know, people are going to call it what they're going to call it, so let it be. If now it's the Purple EP, God knows what the next one will be called, because I might not name that one either. So either way, these EPs, the first one included and the next three to come, I'm going to approach in the old way, in the old fashion, and really keep it, as far as anything I can compare it to, it would be like a NOLA approach, the first record approach, which really are derived from old demos, and just walking in and feeling the music and inventing it right on the spot, and then finding those words that make that particular magic, and that is the approach.
Outstanding. I'll keep the Pantera questions limited,
though.
I could go on.
But open up Oh, go ahead, open it up.
I've heard you say that The Great Southern Trendkill was the hardest Pantera song to sing, and I totally understand that because I tried it when I was jamming in garage bands and fucking sucked wind quick. Yeah. But can I ask, and this may be like asking if you have a favorite child, but was there a favorite Pantera song for you to sing?
You know, that is once again tough, but there's something about the sheer power, the damnable message, and just the sledgehammer effect of a new level that has always been very, very an interesting song for me to sing, because it's strange when you haven't been in a band that you know, Pantera obviously were very successful and are fans of the fucking best. It's like when years go by without being so closely attached to it, you get to step back and actually hear what the fuck was going on. And lyrically, it surprises me because it lets me know that I was in a young, strong, invincible body. It was before I even broke a fucking bone on stage, that is. And before any injuries mounted. And it's amazing to go back and to hear the positivity of the message, but also that the chorus, the new level, when it drops like that drop is like, that's what I call the sledgehammer effect. That's the fucking money riff. And, you know, like when we get up and jam it on Metal Masters 5 with the Anthrax, Slayer, etc. crew, Billy Sheehan, all that fucking shit, it's a blast. That one song always hits hard. So there's your answer.
That one riff almost invented about 50 subgenres of metal in and of itself. I know exactly the riff you're talking about. But as the running theme we've had with guests over time, we've had an interaction with him. We had Hank 3 on last year, and he was kind enough to share a touching and hilarious story the last time he saw the man, but few people knew him better than the bandmates that he was in Pantera with, being yourself. One of them, would you mind just giving us a good story on our hero, Mr. Dimebag Darrell?
Well, I told one the other day that's pretty fucking good. But Dimebag, you know, Pantera toured. We toured our ever-loving balls off, man. We stayed on the road, played every nook and cranny within the states as much as possible. And if we happen to miss a state or a main city, then that's amazing in itself. But you know, when you're on the road that long, days off become almost tedious because it's like you lose your schedule. You're like, fuck, man, you know, what am I going to do today besides take a shower? You know, what's going on? Next thing you know, here comes Dimebag, and he's got a plan. And if you got, by God, if it's not going to be executed, fucking, well, then there'll be trouble. But most of the time, most of his plans were executed to a T. And going back to 1991 or 2, Vulgar Display of Power had just come out, and Skid Row took us on tour. Well, we realized that A, this was not our audience, and B, they needed to be converted. So after about 2-3 weeks of tour and then getting lukewarm responses and whatnot, Dimebag said, man, you know what we need to do? We need to trip these fucking people out. And see, Dimebag is infamous motherfucker when it came to destroying hotel rooms. And this particular hotel room was so fucking destroyed, devastated, and beat that they had to pretty much gut the room and start from scratch. And the reason being was, once again, we're on the Skid Row tour, and day off, and Dimebag has an idea, and his idea was, but it started like this, a phone call in my hotel room. He called me Meunier. He go, Meunier. And that's from the drink, Grand Meunier, but he ended up calling me Meunier. He goes, Meunier, get your ass over here, right down, pronto. I'm like, oh, fuck, all right, so click. And I show up to his room, and he's got chicken wire spread everywhere, buckets full of fucking flour and water, basically paste, and he's making paper mache weed pot plants, 6-foot pot plants. So here we are twisting all these fucking chicken wire pot leaves together, slapping this fucking goddamn paper mache shit all over the fucking place. The carpet was ruined. We were doing it on top of, there was 2 beds in the room. We were doing it on top of one of the beds. One obviously he had to sleep in, but the other bed was basically made of rock after we were finished. And the very next, well, and of course then comes the green spray paint, which, you know, you happen to accidentally hit a lamp with a blast of green spray paint, and then the wall and the TV, and then the screen is green, and everyone's laughing, and by God, whiskey is going around by the double shots at the time. In the morning, sure enough, we had perfectly made pop plants and a big fake rolled joint with a smoke bomb at the end of it. So that night, we played some outdoor gig with fucking Skid Row, and on the last song, I think it was Cowboys from Hell, the roadies wheeled out these fucking goddamn rickety-ass motherfucking pot plants, and they gave me this lit-up joint. I'm holding it up, and guess what? It worked. The crowd fucking loved it. They were like, oh my God, these fucking weirdos. And it worked. And you gotta credit Dimebag. And like you say, there's a million questions, there's a million stories. So that's just one of them that fucking, was a very creative genius, and there was never a fucking dull moment around that guy. He's fucking out of his mind. I love him still.
Thank you, man. That's greatly appreciated to share that with us. And we'll wrap it up here.
It's fun to share that type shit, man. It's people should know shit like this. Dimebag was probably one of the most unique motherfuckers I've ever met. He had piercing blue eyes that, you don't see that type of intensity in people's eyes every day.
Right, yeah.
He was a fucking demon that got the job done, and may he rest in fucking peace. While he was here, he's the epitome of a lifer. That's what I call him. Because he knew he was born to be a guitar hero, period. He was as great a guitar player as when I first met him in 1987 as he was before he passed away, and just a super talent, man, and I love him and miss him very much.
Yeah, the metal community will never have another Dimebag Darrell.
No, they won't.
One of a kind, man. One of a kind. I see here you get a couple of months off at home, then you're going back at it again on some international dates coming up. What does the rest of 2013 hold for you down and Housecore?
I get home, I have a day to myself, which is the day we get home, and then Sunday is Super Bowl Sunday, and I got 2 roadies staying with me. One guy's from Britain, And Scott Kelly from Neurosis is going to be in town, so he's coming over. So that's going to happen on Super Bowl Sunday, and then about 4 or 5 days later, I start jamming with my solo band, getting tight, jamming, getting ready for the summer or whenever, just to play shows and fucking, like I say, I gotta live like a shark, man. Gotta live like a shark. Gotta check the final mixes on the fucking solo record. I think they're very, very fucking close. And punch the fuck out of the fucking goddamn bag, man. Do some boxing, goddammit. I got a lot to do.
Hell yeah. Well, Phil, thank you so much for giving us some of your time here today. HousecoreRecords.com, down-nola.com. It has been an honor. Anything else you want to plug before we get out of here?
Check out the HousecoreRecords.com as well. That's the shop and everything like that. And I love the fans. I love the people. I love the underground. I would be nobody without the fucking people. You know, there's a lot of musicians out there that try to touch people's hearts and stuff like that. I just feel fortunate enough that people actually gave us the fucking time, because everybody has a busy day. Everybody's life is very complicated, but they actually found the time to sit down and listen to Pantera songs, Down songs, Superjoint songs, Arson Anthem songs, Christ Inversion songs, Necrophagia songs. I could keep going, but the fact that motherfuckers actually really did that, it touches my heart. It is a dream come true. And despite me having a setback with drugs, alcoholism, and severe pain in my life, chronic bodily pain, I will never in my life, and I'm mark my fucking words, I will never go back to that way of life. All you will get out of Phil Anselmo comes from the heart till the day I hit the fucking dirt. And when it comes from the heart, it's always a positive fucking thing. I love all y'all. Thank you very much. Ave Satanas.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. Philip Anselmo, one of the reasons the Midnight Black Mass exists right here on the program. And I can't think of a better way to end the show than that. Thank you for joining us, fans. Keep those horns in the air. Good night.